Hare Krishna. Welcome to this episode of Harināma Cintāmaṇi. This is chapter 8 and the topic is the fifth offense, which is interpreting the holy name. So we will invoke the blessings of Śrīla Prabhupāda in the entire disciplic succession, the parampara, by chanting the Mangalacharan prayers, and then we will start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a very important series that we are doing on Harināma Cintāmaṇi on the holy name and how to actually chant the holy name. So in this series, now we are in chapter 8, where we are discussing the offense against the holy name, which is interpreting the holy name. So that is also an offense. So while chanting, there are 10 offenses to be avoided, and this is one of them, the fifth offense. So let's look at what is explained here by Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, and then we will discuss the points mentioned herein. And if you are watching this, because this is not our usual day, Thursday, so some of the devotees may not be aware. We did announce in the announcement groups, but if you can also put in a word, maybe that will be helpful, so more people can come on. Jai Gaura Gadadhar Shri Radha Madhav Jaya Gaura Leela Sthali Jannavi Vaishnava. These are the invocation prayers of this. Like each chapter has a particular invocation prayer. So Haridāsa spoke. This is Haridāsa Ṭhākura speaking to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. O son of Shachi, the fifth offense is giving interpretations to the name and its glories. The Smritis or Puranas glorify the holy name of Krishna, stating that if one should chant the name either in negligence or in faith, Krishna will show that person great mercy. Actually it is not mere, it is there. There is no knowledge as pure as the name. There is no vow as powerful as the name. There is no meditation more effective than the name. Nor is there any fruit greater than that attained by the name. There is no greater renunciation than the name. There is no greater peace than the name. In this world there is no greater pious activity than taking the name, nor is there any quicker progress than in the name. The name is the highest liberation, the highest freedom, the highest destination, the highest peace, the point of no more searching. The name is the highest devotion. The name is the purest inclination of the jiva. The name is the highest love and direct remembrance of the Lord. The name is the cause of all causes, the Supreme Lord, most worshipable, and is a form of Guru to bring one to the Lord. It's a very nice explanation of the glory of the holy name. And it's nowhere near any karmakanda ritual. And this, unfortunately I don't have the book here, the physical book of Harinam Cintāmaṇi, where the Bengali verses are there. It is downstairs with, in the temple office with His Grace Sundar Gopal Prabhu. If it was here, I would have read the Bengali verse actually that Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura has composed. But it sounds very nice. It's the essence of all knowledge actually, what here it is said. The name is just, it is the be all and end all of all success, all progress. It is stated that 1000 names of Viṣṇu are equivalent to one name of Rāma, and 3 names of Rāma are equivalent to one name of Krishna. So this statement is supported by Vedic evidence. So sometimes devotees ask, even like outsiders, they ask, how can there be like calculations, mathematics in the name of the Lord? It's ultimately the name of the Lord. Yes, but still this is mentioned in the Shastras. So whatever is mentioned in the Shastras has to be taken as gospel truth, right? So there are verses for this. So Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila 9.32 and 33. Rāma Rāmeti Rāmeti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Bhistulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Lord Shiva addressed his wife Durga, O Varanana, I chant the holy name of Rama 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 and thus enjoy this beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1000 holy names of Lord Viṣṇu. This is a verse from Brihad Viṣṇu Sahasranama Stotra in the Uttarakhanda of the Padma Purana. So Uttarakhanda, there is a chapter number and verse number 72.335. Sahasranam nam punyanam triravrityatu yat phalam ekavrityatu krishnasya namaikam tat prayachati. The pious results derived from chanting the 1000 holy names of Viṣṇu 3 times can be attained by only one utterance of the holy name of Krishna. Purport. This verse from the Brahmanda Purana is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.5.354 by Rupa Goswami. Simply by chanting the name of Krishna once, one can attain the same results achieved by chanting the holy name of Rama 3 times. Now, regarding the names of the Lord, there are distinctions in direct and indirect names, and that is explained in a previous chapter of this Harinam Cintāmaṇi. I hope you remember that. So there are direct names of Krishna like Krishna, Rama, and also Yashodanandana, Giridhari. These are all direct names of Krishna. Whereas indirect names are like saying Creator, Paramatma, Divinity. These words, one of the ISKCON so-called devotees is using these kind of words. Not specific. So such non-specific words are non-specific names, not directly attributing to the Lord. There is ambiguity. Although it is, yes, Krishna is the creator ultimately. But that is not the direct name. People can have different ideas of who is creator. Okay, I feel this person is creator, I feel that person is creator. Or I feel creator is just like an impersonal power. So there is room for speculation there. But when you say Giridhari, for example, Krishna, lifting up the Govardhan, is very specific. Krishna is very specific. Ramachandra is very specific. These are direct names. So there is the distinction between direct and indirect names of the Lord. That is explained by Haridas Thakur. And Now here there is even more distinction. Even among the direct names, Rāma, the word Rāma is equal to 1,000 names of Viṣṇu. And the word Krishna is equal to 1,000 names of Viṣṇu times 3. So now we can understand why the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a Mahamantra. Because you see, concentrated effect, like a drug, a medicine, can be diluted or concentrated. Now the name of Viṣṇu, there are, unlimited names of Viṣṇu. Nam Namakari Bahudha, Nija Sarva Shaktis. And all the expansions of the Lord are as powerful as the Lord. But still, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. And the pastimes the loving relationship that he has with devotees, one of the extra qualities that other incarnations or expansions do not have. This is, although it's like 60 qualities in Narayana and 64 qualities in Krishna, although it looks like 4 more qualities, but one of the 4 qualities is intimate, associates who he has as his, and he has intimate pastimes with them. So these intimate pastimes especially refer to the Sakhya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa and Madhurya Rasa. This is and the amount of difference that it makes, the flavor of those intimate loving affairs is unimaginably greater than servitude. So the names, so even among the direct names, Krishna is the supreme name. The supreme name of God is Krishna. There's nothing higher. And Rāma, Krishna and Rāma. Rāma means Balaram. You also can refer to Ramachandra. There's no difference. But Srila Prabhupada explained that it especially refers to Balaram, who is the first expansion of Krishna. So that's why this holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra has 4 Krishnas and 4 Rams, and then Hare. Hara. So of course sometimes Hari is also mentioned as Hare. Hare Murare. Srinath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. So this is written by Bilumangal Ṭhākura. And many places. Hari also is referred to as Hare. Hara is also referred to as Hare. So of course Srila Prabhupada's explanation is Hara, Srimati Radharani. But if you see for example, 100,000 holy names, like 64 rounds is counted as 100,000 holy names. Actually more than 100,000, it's about 108,000. But roughly it is always mentioned as 100,000, and Haridāsa Thakur is doing 300,000 holy names. Now the 300,000 is actually counting the Hare Krishna mantra as 16 names. So all of them are taken as holy names. So even whether you take it as Hari or Hare, of course Srila Prabhupada mentioned specifically as Hara, and in the vocative it's Hare, Srimati Radharani. These are all considered holy names. And this you can see it's a concentrated version of all the names of the Lord. So how much punya you can get in the shortest time, because our lifetime is very short in Kali Yuga, and in that short time we have to get the greatest benefit, and that will be the best process. And so chanting is the easiest process, Kalautad Hari Kirtana, and in that Hari Kirtana, especially the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the center of the Hari Kirtana. Of course there are many songs, there are many names, they are not denied, because they themselves, in fact, one of the statements given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur here in this Harinam Cintāmaṇi is that by reading and singing the songs written by Vaishnava Acharyas, we can get inspired to chant the holy name. In fact, those songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, authorized Vaishnava Acharyas, they are expansions of the holy name. They are the expansions of holy name. So, anyway, so these differences are there. Direct and indirect names, and even among the direct names, Krishna and Rama are like at the top. Krishna is first, Rama is second. So that is being explained here. That is what is mentioned here. The Vedas say that the holy name is purely spiritual, and thus they constantly glorify the name. The Vedas constantly glorify the name. Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. Sri Krishna Mantram. So, one who minimizes the effects of chanting the holy name, as stated in the Vedas and Puranas, is an extreme offender. That means if we don't take it seriously, that this explanation here, there is no knowledge as pure as the name, there is no meditation more effective than the name. Sometimes people ask us, Prabhuji, you have meditation classes here? Yes, we have meditation. Oh, when is the meditation class? Well, you can come in the morning, japa time. This is our meditation. So I actually show them. Oh, but can I sit down and they're like, no. I said that is not meditation. Meditation means you should meditate on Krishna. And in the Kali Yuga, the only process of meditation is chanting the holy name. So this is the greatest meditation. So there is no meditation more effective than the name, nor is there any fruit greater than that attained by the name, by chanting the name, and that means there is no greater renunciation than the name. Why there is no greater renunciation than the name? What does it mean? See, this is very important. When we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are requesting Radha and Krishna to engage us in their service. So it implies that I have been serving, my senses and my lust, my anger and everything. This famous verse is there, See, this is the actual meaning of this chanting. Kamadinam katina katidha palita durnideshas tesham jata mayina karuna natrapanopashanti utsrijyaitana thayadupate sampratam labdha buddhis Tvamayatah sharanamabhayam mam niyungshvatmadasye. So this is a beautiful prayer. What is this? O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. O my Lord, head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. This is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now you see, this is renunciation. What are we renouncing? We are renouncing our, appetite for sense gratification. Instead of serving the senses, what is attachment? To serve the senses. The renunciation means, so when we are chanting Hare Krishna, implicitly we are saying, I am your servant Sri Radha Krishna. I have nothing to do with my senses, I have nothing to do with this. This is renunciation. Renouncing all endeavors for material happiness. So that's why holy name is the greatest renunciation. The so-called renunciation, which is just trying to give everything up and then stay neutral, that is not possible. We cannot stay neutral because we are not. A liberated person is known as Atma Rama, but actually we cannot be Atma Rama without the assistance of Krishna. So our happiness is not independent of Krishna. Only by Krishna's mercy can we get that happiness, spiritual happiness, even if it be Brahman realization, Brahman happiness, Brahma Sukha. So there is no meditation more effective than the name, nor is there any fruit greater than attained by the name, than that attained by the name. There is no greater renunciation than the name. There is no greater peace than the name. Actually, if we chant and pay attention to what we are chanting and just throw away every other thought for the time being and just focus. There are many things, yes, but just let me hear what I am chanting. Then actually one will attain like unimaginable peace. Very, very peaceful. You just be with Krishna. Just spend time with Krishna. Chanting means spending time with Krishna. It's like, nowadays this is the culture. Date, going on a date. The boy and girl, they go on a date. So, forget about a date. Even a business meeting. If you are going on a business meeting and you are having a meeting, and then if you keep on checking your phone and you are doing something else than talking to the other person, it looks, you are not even paying attention, right? So, similarly, it is a date with Krishna. Chanting means it's a date with Krishna. Every day, a date with Krishna. And while we are chanting, if you can spend time just hearing, just being with Krishna. So, the so-called date, they want to be with that person, right? And spend time and focus on that. Of course, this is not our culture, but any lovers, they spend time like that. Even in the heavenly planets, this is going on. The couples, they spend the time in the groves of those Nandana Kanana gardens of the heavenly planets. So, similarly, the holy name is non-different from Krishna. And we have to, while chanting, just spend time with Krishna. And request, how can I serve you? This is just, and the thoughts will come, a million thoughts will come. Here, hey, this is important, that is important. Yes, but let me be with Krishna, and Krishna will give me the guidance. How to solve every other issue that is there. Even in the matter of service, there are many services, but Krishna will give us the intelligence. We just need to surrender to Krishna. And surrender means, first of all, when you're chanting, pay attention. So there is no greater peace than Him. And if we actually pay attention, we will feel very, very peaceful. Very peaceful. In this world, there is no greater pious activity than taking the name, nor is there any quicker progress than in the name. In one lifetime, you can go back to Godhead. There's such a short life, that too. There's no quicker progress than in the name. The name is the highest liberation. True. Liberation is of three kinds: Brahman realization, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. It takes you all the way to Bhagavan, and even in Bhagavan, the Vaikuntha Loka, it takes you highest to the Golokera Premadhana Harināma Sankirtan. So it takes you all the way to Goloka. Even in the personal liberation, it offers you the highest, to the absolute zenith of perfection, the holy name. Nothing can bring us that close to the, nothing can bring us anywhere close to that kind of perfection. The name is the highest. The highest freedom. Now, recently in Canada, there was some protests, and they called themselves Freedom Convoy. So there were some truckers. And also now there is a war going on in Eastern Europe, and they are fighting for freedom. But honestly, as long as we are in the material world, there is no freedom. The freedom comes when we actually surrender to Krishna. That is where the freedom comes. So this so-called freedom fighter and all these things, every nationalist, he becomes very patriotic with these feelings, But honestly, if you want to fight for freedom, then you have to fight with Maya, not with this or that ruler or this or that. The Maya is the biggest, she's the one we need to get free from Maya. She is the one who's trapping us here. And of course, she will release. If we are serious in our devotional service, she will release. She's obliged to release. But we are the ones who want to be trapped. So that is the highest freedom. And while we are in this world, there will be many, many situations, trying situations in life. And as long as we are chanting, Sukhe Dukhe Bhulo Nako Sada Harināma Bolo Re, written by Bhakti Ṭhākura. So, don't forget the holy name in the time of distress or happiness. In the time of happiness, we get so elated that we forget about chanting and all this. Oh, I am so happy, I am this and that, celebrating. And in the distress, oh, it's too painful, why did God give me this and all that, or just trying to find a solution to come out of that distress. But what we're really getting is, we're getting distracted. We're getting distracted. All these are distractions. So-called happiness and distress, these are all distractions. We need to learn how to tolerate them. And this tolerance will come when we understand the importance of the holy name, when we understand the importance of Krishna consciousness, then we can tolerate. Tolerance will come when we don't give that much importance to that. But if we give it too much importance, then we will be hindered. And if we are giving too much importance to any situation in this material world, which is based on our sense gratification, my sense gratification is curtailed, and therefore I feel so agitated. But if I understand that honestly there is no real freedom in this material world, there is no point really trying for or fighting for some so-called freedom in this world. So there will be this imposition of distress, that imposition. Krishna already certified this as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. How can we, with some arrangement of government or say democracy or something like that, we can expect some kind of freedom or some kind of free expression or whatever. Of course, that is the ideal of these so-called democracies and all that. But we are seeing how it is going on right now. There is no freedom. So it is actually, we are getting cheated only in the name of freedom. So it does not happen like that. Freedom means, even in the worst situation, just keep on chanting. That's why I made that TikTok recently, that YouTube short. Haridāsa Ṭhākura. He said, Khanda khanda hoy deho jai jadi pran tabu ami vadanena chhadi Harināma. So he said, I am not going to leave the holy name even if my body is cut into pieces and my life leaves my body. Jai jadi pran. Even if I die, I am not going to leave. Tabu ami vadanena chhadi Harināma. I am not going to leave the holy name. I will grab onto the holy name so tightly that nothing will cause me to leave. So Narottam Thakur also sings, Jivane marane gati Radha Krishna pranamor Jugala Kishore Jivane marane gati Arnahumor. So Jivane marane gati Arnahumor Radha Krishna pranamor Jugala Kishore. So this is our prayer, whether in death or life. It's such a great calamity or whatever. What is a greater calamity than death? So at any time, we just have to not forget. Death is also a distraction. It is a distraction. Our focus should be on the holy name. Everything else is a distraction. Just a second. So we are getting distracted in this world by happiness and distress. That's why it is said, what is that? Tam stitikshasva bharata. 2:14. Forgot 2:14 was. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha daha. Yeah, that is the verse. So you see, shita ushna. Shita means winter and ushna means summer. This, cold and hot, all these dualities, happiness and distress, basically. These are all distractions. Every situation in this world is a distraction, except the service of the Lord. So when we can understand that, then we know where to keep our focus. Okay, in the name of happiness, this is distracting me. In the name of distress, this is distracting me. But I am forgetting the holy name. And sahanistan mahachidram samoha sacha vibhramaha yanmuhurtam kshanam vape vasudevam nachintayet. If we lose a single moment of remembrance of Krishna, it is the greatest loss. So that is the greatest loss. Not that, I lost $1 million, so I am in distress. That is not a loss at all. It was destined. It was whatever. The real loss is we forget Krishna. Today there was a news item saying that they were actually doing some kind of brain scan of this patient. He was on the life support, and they were doing some kind of a brain scan to see how is his brain activity, is he going into coma or something like that. So then apparently, and some procedure was being done on him. I don't remember the exact thing. So they were doing some medical procedure or something. So it was connected, the brain scanning. So for the last 90 seconds of his, so he actually got a heart attack while on the table, surgical table. So because of that heart attack, he died. So while dying, so because it was already connected, there was a scan of the brain during those final moments, and that was the first ever captured brain scan of a dying person. And they saw something interesting, brain activity. So it was similar to a dream. I mean, when one watches a dream, something like this. So basically what it means is that he saw his entire life in the incidents of his life as a flash, all the incidents of his life, important incidents. And that is exactly what is said in the Bhagavad Gita, that the thought at the time of death will be, and something else is said in the Bhagavad Gita, which these scientists do not know. So yes, life passes as a flash, all the scenes in life. But whatever he has been most attached to, that will remain. So with each moment that we forget Krishna, we are running the risk by getting attached to something else than Krishna. We are running the risk of seeing that at the time of death, in that flash. And if that thought remains, if we concern ourselves too much to this material world, there is actually a verse like that. We shouldn't be too much concerned with anything in this material world. Whether it be our body, whether it be our family, whether it be our gender, race, or any cause, or any nationality, or any material circumstance. If we are too much concerned about something, then it is an imprisonment. Just like Bharat Maharaj, he was too much concerned with the deer, and that was his downfall. So too much concern is not good. Concern should be there, but spiritual concern, that is okay, the spiritual concern, but not being concerned on a material platform. Spiritual concern means this person must be given Krishna consciousness. Preaching comes from spiritual concern. Paradukha dukhi. Vaishnava means he sees others unhappy and he feels unhappiness. But he is not foolish enough just to, they are unhappy, I feel so bad, or this thing. But it's not that he just feels something like that only. What he understands is, they are suffering because they are not accepting Krishna. How to give Krishna to these people? How to make them understand that Krishna consciousness is the only answer and they can get complete peace with this? How can I get to them? How can I pass this message to them? How can I get their attention towards this message? So this is real concern. So the preaching happens out of real concern for the souls. So that is Krishna conscious concern. Although you are concerned for the other person, it is through the medium of Krishna consciousness, through Krishna. Because they are also part and parcel of Krishna ultimately, so their happiness actually is with Krishna. So you are reminded of Krishna in that concern. But if you are concerned with something just because of bodily relation or material relation or material ideology, that concern will not remind you of Krishna. So, in that condition, although we may have concern about others, we need actually concern ourselves. We ourselves are an object of concern, because we are going on a wrong path by not remembering Krishna and not seeing it through Krishna. So the name is the highest liberation, the highest freedom, the highest destination, the highest peace, the point of no more searching. The name is the highest devotion. The name is the purest inclination of the jiva. to be a servant of Radha and Krishna. This is the purest inclination of the jiva. Nothing else. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. Highest devotion. Bhaktir uttama. The name is the purest inclination of jiva. The name is the highest love, the direct remembrance of the Lord. In fact, it is better than remembering the Lord. Agachit smaranam Viṣṇur bahvayasena sadhyate oshtha spandana matrena kirtanam tu tatovaram. It is said in a book called Vaishnava Cintāmaṇi. We are talking about Harināma Cintāmaṇi here. There is another book called Vaishnava Cintāmaṇi. There it is mentioned like this, that remembrance of the Lord is certainly very purifying. Om apavitraha pavitro va sarvavastham gatopi va yah smaret. Smaret means to think. Yah smaret pundarikaksham sa bahya abhyantara shuchihim. So there will be external and internal cleansing just by remembering the Lord. But in this verse, Vaishnava Cintāmaṇi verse, it is said, Agachit smaranam Viṣṇur. So by thinking of Viṣṇu, agachit. Agha means sinful reaction. It will be destroyed. But bahvayasena sadhyate. Bahu ayasena means by great endeavor only this can be achieved, this remembrance. But oshtha spandana matrena, just by moving the lips, kirtanam tu tatovaram, by chanting the holy name, we can attain the same thing. But this is easier than to remember Krishna. To chant Krishna's name is easier than to remember Krishna. And of course, when we chant, the remembrance is there. And therefore, the chanting is higher. That's why it is said the highest, the direct remembrance of the Lord here. The name is the cause, you see, the direct remembrance of the Lord. The name is the cause of all causes, the Supreme Lord, most worshipable, and is a form of Guru to bring one to the Lord. The name is a form of Guru. Chaitya Guru, the Paramatma, name is also Guru. Is most worshipable. There is a nice verse by Haridāsa Ṭhākura himself in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Antilila 3.62, if I am not wrong. Shraddharajyam, and living with faith. Okay, let's read this verse and the other verse also. Tam nirvyājam bhajagunanidhe pavanam pavananam shraddharajyan matiratitaram uttamah shlokamaulim prodhyannantah karanakuhare hantayannama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati maha patakadvantarashim. O reservoir of all good qualities, just worship Sri Krishna, the purifier of all purifiers. See the Pavanam Pavananam, the purifier of all purifiers. The most exalted of the personalities worshipped by choice poetry, Krishna. Worship him with a faithful, unflinching mind, without duplicity, and in a highly elevated manner. Worship him with a faithful, unflinching mind, without duplicity, and in a highly elevated manner. That exact word, atitaram. Matiratitaram. Thus worship the Lord, whose name is like the sun. For just as a slight appearance of the sun dissipates the darkness of night, so a slight appearance of the holy name of Krishna can drive away all the darkness of ignorance that arises in the heart due to greatly sinful activities performed in previous lives. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And of course, we have this verse. This is also by Haridāsa Ṭhākura, quoted from Padma Puran, but I think it's 2 verses. Namaikam yasya vachi Smarana pathagatam shrotramulam gatam va shuddham va shuddhavarnam vyavahitarahitam tarayatyeva satyam Tacchedeha dravina janata lobha pashanda madhye nikshiptam syan naphala janakam shigramevatra vipra. If a devotee utters once the holy name of the Lord, or if it penetrates his mind or enters his ear, which is the channel of oral reception, that holy name will certainly deliver him from material bondage, whether vibrated properly or improperly, with correct or incorrect grammar, or properly joined or vibrated in separate parts. O Brahmana, the potency of the holy name is therefore certainly great. However, if one uses the vibration of the holy name for the benefit of the material body, for material wealth and followers, or under the influence of the greed or atheism, in other words, if one utters the name with offenses, such chanting will not produce the desired result very soon. Therefore, one should diligently avoid offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Now, in this book is called Harinam Cintāmaṇi. Not this. What we are discussing. Cintāmaṇi means that which will yield all desires. So the holy name will actually yield the desire of even material happiness, monist happiness. That means in the Brahma Sukha, impersonal happiness, or the personal happiness as a devotee. So it can give anything. But the real effect, the real benediction of the holy name would be the spiritual, the devotional happiness. So that we will not get if we chant with offenses. We chant the holy name for the material body. Like in 1898, in the year 1898, there was a plague, there was a disease, an outbreak, just like now there's a pandemic. So there was an epidemic at the time, and the Bengal, so many people were dying, and there was one man in Calcutta. He organized the kirtan, and Prabhupada says he was 2 years old at the time, because he was born in 1896, and he was very short, 2-year-old, and that man, he organized a kirtan in the whole town, in the whole area, and big Nagar Sankirtan on the streets, chanting and everything, and they were going to every house and chanting and like that, house to house like that. And when they were chanting, Prabhupada remembers he was also chanting, and everybody was like, chanting, and he could only see until the knees of the people, their knees, that much only he could see. So he remembered that. So and then after that, the kirtan, the disease was gone. No more. It was finished. So definitely, the kirtan solved the problem. The disease was gone. But Prabhupada said that is not pure chanting. Chanting for a material, body, that is not pure chanting. So pure chanting means just to serve Krishna. Whether Krishna, what is that? Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marma hatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa evana paraha. You are my Lord, whether you kill me or protect me. It's up to you. So that is pure chanting. So we need to do that. Although Harinam can fulfill every other thing, but we should not chant it for that purpose. That is pure Bhakti. So it is stated that 1000 names of Viṣṇu, okay, we have read this part. So one who minimizes the effects of chanting the holy name as stated in the Vedas and Puranas is an extreme offender. So if we think that all these things, highest freedom, highest liberation, and all this highest pious activity and all, renunciation, peace, if we think that these are exaggerations, and like there are so many karmakanda rituals, after the explanation of the ritual, then there is a phalashruti, which is, okay, if you do this, then you will get that. So it is an inducement to do the real thing, which is actually worshipping Viṣṇu in that sacrifice. And all the other procedure is actually just to, give you some inducement so that you do some worship. If we think that these things, with these benefits which we are discussing about the holy name, if they are also something like that just to make us chant something, but it is not really, the real thing, or just to make us induce, just like to a child we will say so many things, oh, you take this and I'll give you that, and something like that, just for him to take the medicine or take take some food or whatever. But we may not actually fulfill them. It's just exaggerations, But if we think the holy name is also like that, that is a great offense. Because these are not actually just mere inducements. These are real facts about the holy name. The rascal who commits arthavada against the name is doomed to rot away in hell. Some people say that the results of the holy name that are stated in the scriptures are not true but only meant to attract one to the name. But those persons, due to lack of Bhakti Sukṛti, lacking faith. Bhakti Sukṛti means previous, what is that called? Ajñāta Sukṛti. So Bhakti Sukṛti. Sukṛti means pious activities, and Dushkriti means sinful activities. Bhakti Sukṛti means those who have zero piety in the matter of bhakti. For example, we may collect alms from people, we may collect donations for the temple, and a person gives a $2, say for example, to our temple, and they give $2 elsewhere to another cause. The person who is giving, he does not know the distinction of this cause and that cause. What is the difference? But although it is $2 and $2, the piety he gotten from helping maybe a orphanage, and the difference between that and giving to that same $2 to the temple which is engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness, it's totally different. The one is ordinary Sukṛti and this is Bhakti Sukṛti. So this is different from ordinary piety. So those who have zero credit in Bhakti Sukṛti and they lack faith, so they cannot understand the real purport of the scriptures or the greatest welfare of mankind. Instead, they will take the opposite interpretation. So, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yesham to antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajate mam dridhavrataha. So here, so it is said that if you are pious, then you will take to this process with faith. But this does not refer to material piety. Yes, material piety. What happens when we do material piety? Why in the Vedas there is recommendation of material piety? So that if our, at least in this material world, if our existence is not fraught with too many sinful activities or reactions, then because of our association more with Sattva Guna, so there is a higher chance that we will meet people in Sattva Guna also. And then by chance, if we can meet the pure devotee, it increases our chance to meet a pure devotee, basically. For example, how much opportunity is there to meet a pure devotee or to meet a devotee in Singapore than, say, in Haridwar or Vrindavan? There, everywhere you go, you will see devotee. There is higher opportunity to see devotees, right? Singapore, very rare. So there is higher opportunity to meet devotees in a place where the devotees congregate more often. So, but why would I be interested in Vrindavan if I have a little bit of piety, even materially? If I am a little bit of a religious person, I might go to Vrindavan. But if I am not religious, then I will go to some tourist location or this and that, but not Vrindavan. So I will not associate with those places which are in the mode of goodness, where people in the mode of goodness actually congregate. So it decreases our chance to meet a pure devotee. So when we are at least materially pious, then we will be inclined towards these, to the mode of goodness, basically. And there is a higher chance to meet the devotees. And when we meet devotees is when we will actually make the Bhakti Sukṛti start. That's when it actually starts. And even then we may not make full use of it. We may not fully take advantage of such association. Right? We may still, fall away. We may commit offenses and So after many lifetimes, if we are sincere, we can do it in 1 second, Prabhupada said, right? One moment. But if not, if we can take it seriously, yes, within one lifetime we can make complete solution. It is not easy. We have to be absolutely alert in this direction. We have to become pure, actually. But those who even, if they are not, like the devotees are merciful. So they will induce people who are not even in the mode of goodness or passion, completely in mode of ignorance. They will try to even induce them somehow or other to participate in Bhakti Sukṛti. So out of devotees' mercy only we can get actually Bhakti Sukṛti. So those who are very, okay, let's see the verse first. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam tedvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. 728 Bhagavad Gita. Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So this is important, right? And how will their sinful activities be completely eradicated? That is only possible with Bhakti Sukṛti. And then they will be determined in this path. Otherwise, they will not be determined. They may come, but they will go away. But to remain, that requires some serious piety. So here it is said, but those persons due to lack of Bhakti Sukṛti, lacking faith, cannot understand the real purport of the scriptures or the greatest welfare of mankind. Instead, they will take the opposite interpretation. Now, because the Karmakanda section, you see the spelling is wrong. Karmakanda actually is Kanda. So here in this book there are a lot of spelling mistakes. So because the Karmakanda section of the Vedas is meant to satisfy one's selfish desire for material gain, for motivation's sake, many tempting results are offered. See? This is what happens in Karmakanda. There are so many tempting results are offered. Similarly, if we think the holy name's results are also like those tempting results just to take us accept the holy name, that is wrong. So, however, in the process of pure bhakti, the candidate practices unselfishness. For the goal of bhakti is unmotivated service to Krishna, not motivated. Therefore, although the statements concerning the holy name are not exaggeration meant to motivate, but are the true effects of the name, the devotee does not take the name for his own material enjoyment. Now, the holy name will offer all the things that we have mentioned earlier, right? But the devotee does not take them for that. Oh, to get peace I will chant, or to get liberation I will chant, to get the freedom I will chant. No. He will just chant to serve the Lord. But these things are concomitant effects, not the desired goal of a devotee. The desired goal of a devotee is to just Jivane Marane Gati Aranahumor Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishore. This is the devotee's real motive. Whatever it may be, let me be always remembering you, Krishna. Let me always be chanting your name, no matter what else comes to distract me. Even if death is also a distraction, danger is a distraction, everything is a distraction. Happiness is a distraction, distress is a distraction. The holy name should be the only focus. So if one performs the sacrifices prescribed in Karmakanda with the desire for material gain, that is called cheating. Kaitava dharma, it is called in Bhagavatam, dharma projhita kaitavatra parama nirmatsananam satan. So such cheating motivated religions are rejected in Bhagavatam. So that is real bhakti. Karmakanda is full of these motivations. If one has desire and faith in the happiness of material objects, this is important. Even devotees can have this, right? If we are not serious, we will have faith and desire in the happiness of material objects. Or let me be happy in my marriage. Let me be happy with this. Or let me be happy with that. Let me be comfortable in this. So if we have these things that I want to be happy or comfortable with anything material, anything other than Krishna, we are asking for trouble. Because Krishna is kind. He will remove that attachment that we have for that thing. And if we are reluctant to, let go of it, Krishna will forcibly take us out of that. And that will be more painful. Of course, it is good for us, but it is a more painful way of coming to the reality. Rather than accepting the fact that yes, I must come out of this. This is not a platform of happiness. I am wrong. We should not be stuck up, that oh no, I want this, I want that. So we should not seek happiness in any material situation. What we should seek is complete focus on Krishna in all spheres of our life, in all facets of our life. That is called Krishna consciousness. To be always conscious of Krishna. If material happiness distracts us from being conscious of Krishna, or distress distracts us, danger distracts us, too much concern for others on a material platform distracts us from Krishna. Spiritual concern does not distract us from Krishna. That is how we can judge whether it is spiritual or material. So it should not distract us from Krishna. And that concern should be with Krishna consciousness. So that is spiritual concern for the soul. So if something is distracting, then we know we are not Krishna conscious. If one has desire and faith in the happiness of material objects, one will ask for material results from a sacrifice. But if one can execute one's activities without interest in these material results, one's heart will become purified. That is the actual purpose of karma kanda. So even while karma kanda, instead of being, distracted by the results offered by these yajnas, but if we just perform, if a person comes after many lifetimes to the point that he will perform these activities or karma kanda rituals for, okay, I'm duty bound to do this, I should do this. It's not for like, I should get this, therefore I should do this. So the bhava in which one performs, and Krishna notices that, okay, he is not very much concerned with the results. Okay, he may be offered the association of a devotee. And that's how we are introduced. So that is the actual purpose of karma kanda. When one's heart is purified, one's interest and taste for culturing bhakti begins. Let's read that again. But if one can execute one's activities without interest in these material results, one's heart will become purified. That is the actual purpose of karma kanda. When one's heart is purified, one's interest and taste for culturing bhakti begins. Without that purification, one will not have that interest and taste. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. By chanting the holy name, bhakti develops and matures. So first we have to take the seed. So Guru Krishna Prasadavaya Bhakti Lata Bij. And that seed we have to sow in the field of our heart. And if the heart is not fertile, like if the land is not fertile, the seed cannot grow properly. So the heart must be fertile, conducive for the growth of that seed, the plant. And then there has to be constant nurturing by hearing and chanting, which is the watering process. The more we do, the more luxuriantly it will grow. The more we deprive it of the water of Shravan Kirtan, the more it will dry up and die. So the taste will go. The juice will be there in the leaves, the juice will be there in the stem, the branches and everything, if there is sufficient nourishment, right? So it will dry up, the juice will not be there anymore, the taste will not be there anymore if we don't do this watering process. So by chanting the holy name, bhakti develops and matures. Thus it can be seen that the end result of karma kanda is to come to taste the holy name. And that is confirmed by Devahuti in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It's a very well known verse. Aho batashvabachoto gariyan yajjihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhvo sasnurarya brahmanu churnama grinanti yete. 333.7. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas and fulfilled everything required. That means what? The ultimate end of all these pious activities is to chant the holy name. And if one is chanting the holy name, one is already deemed to have achieved the perfection of all these other activities. They are secondary activities, they are not primary activities. Primary is chanting. And such mention of devotional service as the highest thing is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 8:28. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. See, since simply by devotional service, everything is already achieved. So devotional service, there is no comparison. Gokotidanam grahane khagasya prayaga gangodaka kalpavasa yajñāyutam meru suvarnadanam govinda kirte nasamam shatam shaihi. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity during an eclipse of the sun, lives at the confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna for millions of years, or gives a mountain of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmanas, he does not earn 100th part of the merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. Now, all those activities are meant to lead us to the holy name. But how different is the holy name from all those activities? This is such pious activities which are unimaginable in our current. We can't even imagine giving 10 million cows in the entire lifetime, forget on an eclipse. We can't even donate 10 cows in our entire lifetime. 10 million cows during an eclipse, only during that eclipse time. How much pious it is? And living at the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna for millions of years. To live at the holy place like that, it's very, holy, it's very, what is that called? Pure. What is the word? Pious. But nothing compared. And even given a mountain of gold, forget it. Even can't even give 1 gram of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmanas. One mountain if we give, all that together doesn't constitute 100th part of the piety derived from chanting the holy name. And this is not an exaggeration. In other words, one who accepts the chanting of Hare Krishna to be some kind of pious activity is completely misled. Koti ashramedha ek Krishna nama sama jai kahe shay pashandi dhande taryama. One who says that 10 million ashramedha sacrifices are equal to the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna is undoubtedly an atheist. He is sure to be punished by Yamaraj. Just look at that. What we have, the treasure that we have, we are underestimating. What we actually have is an opportunity unattainable in any part of time. In the entire Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, this is the time which is the most fortunate time to be in. Demigods worship Kali Yuga and want to take birth here, especially in Bharatvarsha. We have that opportunity already. We have the holy name at our disposal. We are chanting every day. So if we can take it seriously, understanding how important it is and how much fortunate we are to have, to be in this, in this practice of chanting the holy name, then we will better appreciate our position and take it more seriously. So that's why we are reading these literatures like Harināma Cintāmaṇi, and of course Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, everything. So thus it can be seen that the end result of karma yoga is to come to taste the holy name, at least if those activities are done properly. The results one can obtain from chanting the name are far beyond anything one can obtain by wandering in any of the 14 planetary systems. Scientists, they want to go to Mars right now. But what we have with the holy name is far beyond anything one can obtain by wandering in any of the 14 planetary systems. There are millions of planets in each planetary system, and there are 14 planetary systems. And all of that can't give anything equal to the holy name. Not even remotely comparable. So there's no need of going to Mars. Just chant Hare Krishna. But how can a karmi or jnani obtain these results with their offensive attitude? Just by namabhas, one can get all the results obtained by the processes of karma and jnana. Just by namabhas. If such results can be obtained by namabhas, is there need to doubt the great benefit one will get by chanting the pure name? All the glories of the name that are recited in the scriptures are accepted as fact by the sincere bhakta. The low-class men do not accept this, however, and by their doubting commit offense, which leads them to certain ruin. So why? Now you may say, okay, fine. Okay, I want to accept that the holy name is extremely powerful, not different from Krishna, not equal to any of the karma kanda rituals. But I'm having a problem that when I chant the holy name, I don't feel like I have committed all these, pious activities and I feel like top of the world. I don't feel it. I'm still, so embroiled in material life, and I still don't have that kind of a, I don't feel it basically. Like, how am I supposed to believe something when I am not feeling it? Although you are saying, okay, fine, we all have the holy name, the opportunity to chant the holy name. Fine, yes, okay, I'm fortunate. But when I'm chanting the holy name, there is no, you're telling me all these things, but I'm not feeling that kind of level of, happiness and that level of accomplishment that I've achieved all these things. Why? Then how can I believe? So the thing is, again, now the holy name is powerful, but at what stage are we chanting? Just like the sun is extremely powerful in the midday and on a cloudless day, we can feel the entire force of the sun. Not entire, but the maximum that we can feel on earth, we will feel at that time, right? But if it is just risen on the horizon, or if there are clouds blocking, it's not we cannot experience that. There is dim light, gloomy, so the effect, the cloud is what is causing the problem. It's obstructing. So we have obstructions that are not allowing us to experience the holy name to the fullest extent. And the clouds is our own ignorance. That is explained, the fog and the clouds in the beginning of this book, Harinam Cintāmaṇi. At the end of this book, we will do a recap of this entire book so that we remember everything that we have discussed. And I will try doing a mind map, like kind of a presentation of the topics. Let's see if that is possible. But you see, so these things are, and because of our nama aparadh, we are blocking ourselves from fully experiencing the holy name. So we have to come out of that, and that happens by regular chanting. Papakshayascha bhavati smaratam tam aharnisham namaparadhayuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishranti prayuktani tanyevarthakarani cha. So this is the verse. Just by, we may be committing offenses, but the only way to get out of these offenses is to constantly keep chanting and trying to put a conscious effort to avoid the offenses and keep on chanting. And by the constant chanting, we will get, the holy name will reveal slowly the, according to the degree of our surrender, will reveal the pure chanting. Namabhas and then Shuddha Nama. Okay, so from beginning to the end of the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata and the Puranas, the name is glorified. To minimize and interpret these glories, which are clearly stated by the authority of the Vedas, will yield no good result. So if we are not experiencing the result, the problem is with how are we taking up that process. Like if there is a recipe and if I follow the recipe, I will get the result. I will get the result, the dish, the preparation. But if I don't follow the recipe and then I do whatever I like, how can I get the result? We may have the recipe in our hand, but if I don't follow the recipe, so the Guru will give us the path how to go back to Krishna and how to become perfect in Krishna consciousness. But if we don't take it seriously, then we cannot experience that. So we have to take it seriously. So the Lord and the Lord's name are one, for the Lord has invested in the name all his transcendental energies. Thus he has made chanting of the holy name the supreme process. As the Lord is completely independent and full of all energies, he has, by his will, invested in karmakanda activities his material energy, in Brahma Gyan his nirvana energy. But in the holy name he has invested all energies with all results. So you see, Namna Makari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis. All Shakti are there in the holy name. But the Maya Shakti is there in the Karmakanda activities. Nirvana Shakti is there in Jnanakanda activities. But the holy name has all Shaktis. The highest liberation. Even the intimate, Madhurya Ras, to the extent of Madhurya Ras. Golokera Premadhana Harināma Sankirtana. So to that extent it is there, especially in the matter of Hare Krishna chanting. Om Namo Narayanaya, for example, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. They can get us to, what is that? Oh, now it is becoming a little bit laggy. So they can get us to the Vaikuntha, but to the Golok Vrindavan and especially the higher realms of service, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, that is different. That is gotten by Hare Krishna mantra chanting. Oh, it's becoming a problem now. I see that there is a lag now. And I have zero idea what to do about it. I don't know why it happens this way. You let me know if you are feeling any lag. Okay. So let's see if we can finish it. So he has invested these different Shaktis in different processes, but in the Naam, Sarva Shaktis, everything is included. That's why it is the highest thing. But in the holy name, he has invested all energies with all results. Why argue about why and how? Okay, Vrinda Gupta Mataji is saying Prabhuji is all perfect. Okay, that's good. Not much. Oh, actually, it has become better now. Okay, good. Why argue about why and how? The Lord can do what he wants. So he can invest entire energy in the holy name. Therefore, and also I would like to add here a little point. I have actually not replied to one Mataji who asked me a question on WhatsApp. So the question was that why can't we chant Gayatri mantra? Okay, she's not a devotee. She's she's searching. It is coming up. So she asked, why can't we chant Gayatri mantra? I mean, all kinds of mantras should be good, right? I mean, especially in the times that we are in now, difficult times. So any mantra should be good, right? So why we forbid people to chant Gayatri mantra unless like some initiation process or something like that? So I did not get the time to reply. I need to reply to him. So anyway, the thing is, different mantras have different Shaktis also. Now, Gayatri mantra is definitely a powerful mantra, but it requires qualification of the chanter also. Of course, even Hare Krishna mantra requires qualification. In what bhava we chant, the qualification of the devotee should be there. When Uttama Adhikari chants and when a Kanishta Adhikari chants, the effect is different. So, definitely there is a qualified. But even the least qualified person, even if he is a complete atheist, if he somehow or other chants, he can get benefit. But in other mantras, unless you are qualified, you cannot get any tangible benefit from chanting them. So although you may say, hey, after all sound only Hare Krishna, I can pronounce, means I should be able to chant. And this is also Gayatri Mantra, okay, if I can pronounce, I should be able to chant. What is the difference? No. And first of all, it has to be received from a guru. And a guru, authorized guru, he will not just simply initiate somebody into Gayatri Mantra. No. The disciple must be trained. And he should be qualified to be a good disciple even. And the guru also must be qualified. So that qualification is required. But there is no need of initiation to get people to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Even the people on the street, anybody, any sinful person, we can introduce to chanting. But Gayatri mantra we should not. Because it will not have effect if a person is chanting without required levels of purification. So, Sarva Shaktis, when it is said that Nam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti, so that Sarva Shakti means it is so powerful that even the worst sinner, he can get elevated from, he can have the effect, it can have effect, although it is a much lesser effect than Shuddha Nam. But even in the Nam Aparad stage, there is effect. And sometimes accidentally if they do in Nam Abhas stage, there is also effect. But that opportunity, that benefit is not there if you chant other mantras, which are not recommended. But it's not that Gayatri mantra is, it's not powerful now. It is a powerful mantra, but we have to be qualified to chant that mantra. But this requires no qualification. That means more powerful. The Lord can do what He wants. Therefore, the intelligent learned man will not yield to interpreting the glorious name. Not trying to understand why more this one, why this is empowered, that is not empowered. Whatever the Lord says, just accept. He has done it like that, just accept. What is the difficulty? If one happens to commit Arthavada, he should humbly go before an assembly of Vaishnavas who engage in discussions about Krishna and reveal his offense at their feet, begging sincerely for forgiveness. The devotees of the Lord, conversant with all the glories of the holy name, will mercifully forgive him and embrace him. The offense of interpreting or concocting will not occur again. If one happens to talk with one of these offenders, one should immediately, without taking off one's clothes, bathe in the Ganga for purification. If any pure water is not available, one should mentally purify oneself. He who has faith in the mercy of Krishna's dearest Sri Radha wears this Harinam Cintāmaṇi as a necklace. So that's the chapter on Arthavada, or interpreting the holy name. Actually, Harinamni Kalpanam also comes here, to imagine that the glories of the holy name are, imagination. Harinamni Kalpanam and Arthavada, both are discussed actually here, because the next one is about committing sin on the strength of the name. So Harinamni Kalpanam and Arthavada are together amalgamated into one offense here. So because both are interrelated. So that's what we would want to speak on the subject. So if anybody has any questions or comments, you can ask. I don't see any questions so far. If there is any question, you mention now in the comment section, okay, I have a question. So at least I will wait for it, because otherwise, if you type the whole question and by the time I already have closed the entire thing, then it will not be answered. So you let me know in the comments if you have a question. Okay, just say I have a question. Okay, I will wait for it. So anyway, there are so many nice glories of the holy name everywhere actually. Okay, there is a question. Okay, there are a few questions. Okay. Radhika Sakhi Mataji is asking. Oh, this is covering the entire screen. Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for amazing class. Really like the idea of having a mind map of the whole book. I have a question. So it is said, one who is a devotee of the Lord is Sura and an Asura is the opposite, but is there any category in between. I'm thinking of certain people who aren't clearly on the either side. For example, there may be someone who acknowledges the Supreme Lord and respects Him, but such a person may not be a devotee as such. Like he may not be following 4 principles, maybe even eating meat and so on. So definitely is sinful, but is he asura? He may not be against the Lord, but he might just be in ignorance. So how to classify such people? What if they indirectly chant the holy name Sankirtam Parihāsamva? Are they freed from sins? Thank you. So, if I am doing something like, this is actually the next offense, commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. But anyway, if I am doing some kind of sinful activity, continuing the sinful activity, and chanting the holy name, it is, yes, indirect chanting Sankirtam Parihāsamva, but these are mentioned, actually if you remember, this Sankirtam Parihāsamva, Stobham Helanamevava. So these 4 types of Nama Bhas it is counted as. It is sometimes chanted by, if they accidentally don't commit any of those offenses. Because in their life it's offensive. They're usually offensive. So of course they will still benefit from chanting the holy name, but the thing is, if they are especially against, they are asura. And if they are at least favorable, they are sura. They are not rascal. But they are in the very lower stages of sura. Because sura also, of course, there are many divisions, right? The Uttama Adhikari is the greatest sura. And then there is Madhyama sura and then Kanishta Adhikari. But even other than that, even those who say, suppose they accept him, as you said, but they are still, so they are called like, Sura Abhas, you can say, almost Sura. So it's not like in between exactly, but they come under the class of innocent. Innocent and envious. Those who are non-devotees, there are 2 types of non-devotees. As long as one is a non-devotee, he is still a rascal, but not in we don't want to like call everybody rascal, but the definition of rascal is who does not surrender to Krishna. So it's Surabandhu. Surabandhu. So, or Surapraya, almost a Sura. Now, he is on the borderline, but he is there in this side of the Sura category of the border. So, but he's just in the very beginning stages, and if he is innocent, and if he takes up, and that will be good for him. So, otherwise it is said, Dvaubhuta Sargo Lokesmin, Daiva Asura Evacha, Viṣṇu Bhakta Smrito Daiva Asura Stad Viparya. So, if he is not a Viṣṇu Bhakta, he is Asura. Respect is one thing, they may, at least he can be saved. He can still be Asura, but he can be saved. If he takes up, then he will actually become, Sura, proper Sura. So it's like a Sura Praya, like almost a Sura. Like it's a whole spectrum, you see. And there is this dividing line, which is, okay, this is Sura, this is Asura. One may be a little bit on the Asura side, just on the borderline there. Some are like extreme Asura, like absolutely dead against God. So that is a hopeless case of Asura. But if somebody is like, okay, I'm an atheist, they call themselves atheists just because they do not have proper knowledge. So sometimes they come to, when we're distributing books, they say, you know what, let me be honest, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. So I say, I don't think so, that you're an atheist. It's just that you do not have proper information about God. But I consider you as intelligent. So you should, an intelligent person will only form an opinion after he has known something or experienced or, at least known something about something. To formulate an opinion without knowing about it is not a sign of intelligence. And I hope you are not less intelligent or unintelligent. So I think you are intelligent. So since you have not heard about this God enough, I don't blame you. This education system, our education system does not allow for it. So why don't you try? You give it a try. If you don't like, fine. But here is a book, Bhagavad Gita, and read it and try it. And if you read it, then you form an opinion, and then you come and tell me what do you think of it. But to form an opinion without knowing about it, that's prejudice. That's having a preconceived notion about something, or from what you have seen, like how people portray it as religion. Why do you have opinions like a third party opinion? Oh, he's a religious person, he was a scam, he went into jail and all that. But what is actually a religious person? You don't even know. So maybe he's not even religious. Like, in fact, many cases there are like that. Babaji's this, and they go into criminal this thing, and they go jail and all this. So we should actually know who is in fact. So not make an opinion seeing a so-called religious person who has gone into some scandal. So we should know the actual substance first hand. Not like, oh, he is a follower of religious principles, so he went into scam, so all religion is bad. Why do you have the second-hand opinions about something, or third-hand opinions? Have a first-hand experience of the religion and read the Bhagavad Gita, and then you think. So I don't consider you as an atheist. You should try. You try and then let me know. And usually many people, they take a book. Many of them. So they're on the borderline. Like some people, no. All this is nonsense, absolute crap. I don't believe. They are like extreme atheists. So and then there is this whole spectrum. So the innocent, they are sometimes here or sometimes there on the line. So like I was actually, honestly, although I was kind of doing, as a so-called Brahmin family boy, I was kind of doing some rituals or going to some temple just for the namesake, just because family was doing it. But honestly, I did not have much faith in any of these things. I just was more scientific oriented. So that I would actually classify that as an asura. So I was actually tending on the path of asura, but I was wanting to know the signs of existence and the signs of creation. I mean, what is the whole thing? So I was inquisitive, but I was not necessarily following anything really. By good fortune, at least I was vegetarian and stuff like that. But I mean, I was not particularly religiously oriented at all before coming to Krishna consciousness. Not at all. So I was on the path of asura, on the other side of asura, but I was not like an extreme atheist. I'm open to know. I was open. And then when I read Bhagavad Gita, I was convinced. I was pulled into this side. But still I'm somewhere in the border. I'm not like, this is the Uttamadhikari, means I'm just like, just cross the border maybe, but long way to go. Okay, so next, I hope that answers the question. Vrajeshwari Mataji. Prabhuji, as you said, anybody can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, no need of any qualification, but we do get the Harinama Diksha. So how to understand rightly? Yes, see, there is qualification required to sufficiently chant in the proper way. Like there is Nama Parad, Nama Bhas, Shuddha Nam. But the effect of the holy name is different on the different types of chanting. But the point is that even the most sinner can get at least some benefit from chanting the holy name of Hare Krishna. However small it is, he will get some benefit. Whereas if he chants other mantra, he will not get the benefit of chanting that mantra at all. And even of course the Harināma also we must hear from authoritative sources, from Parampara system, the devotees who are following the Parampara system. So that is also there, and then the effect will be there. Even however small it is, there will be some effect. But whereas in the case of other mantras, well, he will not have immediate effect at all. Unless he is initiated with a proper guru and then he starts, then yes. And also he must be having the qualification. And initiation does not also mean that immediately we become qualified to chant the holy name. Actually, we are just starting out only. And we can still fall away. And there is a nice article, many times I've mentioned about it, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura, about how the Diksha, Harinama Diksha, or this Vaishnava Diksha, it does not have the same effect on every initiate and every devotee who is initiated, because of how seriously he takes to the path. It depends. That's why it's all depending on one's surrender, you will get more and more mercy. But when we say that there is no qualification needed to get benefit from this holy name, that means even however small the benefit, he will get benefit by chanting the holy name. Whereas in other mantras, no. Not immediately. Only when one is qualified. So the question, Anandini Mataji, where is mention about the rules for chanting Gayatri Mantra? There must be a Vedic statement, but we understand because of, even in Smartha also, once they are so-called Upanayanam, then they chant the Diksha. But of course from Prabhupada's practice, we also see that this is only given upon second initiation. There is, of course, I think there must be a statement, maybe even in one of the purports of Prabhupada, I do not know, that Gayatri Mantra requires qualification as Brahmana. And again, even if we get the Gayatri Mantra and if we disqualify ourselves by our conduct, by our the effect will not be there again. See, the whole thing is, we have to be, these are not like material certificates. A sign of knowledge in the material world, in the modern way of this thing, is a certificate. Okay, if you have a certificate, okay, you have knowledge of this thing. But in the case of spiritual, in our case of Vedic way of evaluating the knowledge of a person or the character of a person, whether he has real knowledge, is his behavior, is his qualities that he embodies at any given time. Now, if he was good and he was following everything and then he went away from that, then he is wrong. He has lost that effect of that knowledge because he has abandoned, committed offenses, whatever it is. So it's a daily thing. Every day we have to live up to that standards. It's not that, I lived up to that standard for 10 years, so I have a certificate. 10 years followed Krishna consciousness. Like one of the, the Jay Shetty, who is going around doing some stupid motivational nonsense. So he is saying, he proclaims everywhere. Why should people listen to him? Because I am an ex-monk. He proudly says, I am an ex-monk. Ex-monk means you did not make it as a monk. You fell away. Why is that a big thing? And people, Western world, they don't know anything. And then they ask him, why? If you're a monk, why did you leave it? Like, if you have found peace, then why you have left it? No, I felt, he answers like, I felt that, I have to share the goodness and I should interact with people of the world. It's not that I can keep myself in a capsule and something like that. Crap. That is what a devotee does. He actually wants to speak, but he speaks about Krishna, not something else. Not motivate them to, all this material nonsense. So, that is nonsense, So, what is ex-monk? That is not a certificate. That means you fell away from monkhood. It's fine, okay, if you go grihastha, but looks like he has completely fallen away from the standards of, this thing, spiritual life, from what he portrays himself. So, it is not that, okay, I was ex-monk, so it's okay, it's something good, but why have you left it? If it is so good, why have you left it? So that's what, it's, we have to live by those things every single day. And to live by that, if we are Krishna conscious, then all other good qualities will come. So we just need to be worried about focusing our attention on Krishna, and that easily comes by chanting. So if we can chant and attentively and carry out all our services just as a servant of Krishna, and then we can keep that sanity, and that Krishna consciousness will bring about every other good quality. Like we have seen in the first offense, the definition of Vaishnava, all the 28 qualities mentioned in the Bhagavatam, 11, 29 to 32. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, out of the 28, the 17th quality, which is Krishnaika Sharanam. So he is just, surrendered exclusively to Krishna. So that is the primary qualification of devotee, and all the other 27 are secondary qualities, which will automatically come in the person of a devotee. So anyway, That is the thing. Vrinda Gupta Mataji is asking. Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, in Shikshashtakam first verse it is mentioned that it is the life of all transcendental knowledge. Can you please explain this part? Actually, we have gone through this yesterday while discussing the Shruti Shastra Nindanam, by blasphemy of scriptures. So the entire life of transcendental knowledge means Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So the whole knowledge is given to get us to the point of chanting. See, Hare Krishna mantra means what? O Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Is that not the end of knowledge, Vedanta? What is there in the Vedas? Okay, the 9 things, that mentioned yesterday we were reading, what is there in the Shruti and Smriti and Shastra. So, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are His eternal servants, and the process of attaining Him, which is Abhidheya, and Prayojana, which is love of Godhead. So all this is, so ultimately it is, and what is love of Godhead? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitu ki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So ahaitu ki apratihata. So unmotivated devotional service. So chanting Hare Krishna means just unmotivated, no other motive but to serve Radha and Krishna. So that is the life of all knowledge, the end of all knowledge, Vedanta. So this chanting is the end of all knowledge. It already includes, when I say I want to serve you Radha and Krishna, nothing else. And that already means that I am not the body, and therefore I don't want to serve all these bodily connections and everything, and my senses and everything that related to the body or my nation or this and that. I just want to serve Radha and Krishna. So it already includes the part that I am a servant of Krishna. I'm not a material body. I don't belong. All these material relationships are not concerning me at all. And it's not that I'm a Brahmasmi only, and then I'm a soul and no relation to the Supreme Soul. No, Hare Krishna means please engage me in your service. So we are accepting the position that I am actually a servant of the Lord, and our activity is the activity of service, and we are aspiring for that. So that is the life of all knowledge. Everything is included in the holy name. You see? I hope that is clear. Rajeshwari Mataji, Vaishnava is above Brahmana. So what is the significance of Gayatri or Brahmana initiation? Kindly enlighten, Prabhu. There is actually an explanation of this. It was actually started by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura. If I am not wrong, maybe Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Or it was started by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura. Because Vaishnavas, because they were not really... Okay, there are 2 things now. The Diksha is... If you go here... Okay, 2 things. Let me just broadly explain, mention this, and then we'll go into a little bit of a detail. One is, Sanatana Goswami also mentioned the importance of Diksha. Jiva Goswami also explained the importance of Diksha in the 15th chapter of Madhya Lila, verse 108. Because although we are taken to the holy name and Vaishnava is above Brahmana, but because we are in the mode still, so we need deity worship. We need to do, all a range of activities, right? Especially deity worship. So for that, there has to be Diksha. And there has to be a formal acceptance by the disciple to follow. Although there is no need of a formal acceptance, as long as, like for example, Krishna and Brahma, there was not like a fire sacrifice and Krishna gave the beads to Brahma like this and then gave him a name. There was no such thing. He just heard the word tapa and then he did it, executed the order, and then he became perfect, and then he became the acharya. So similarly, Brahma also instructed Narada. And so many, there's no fire sacrifice in each and every aspect of, each and every this thing of Diksha, instance of Diksha. So it can happen in many ways. Like Prabhupada sometimes even in a car, he gave an initiation, just in car like that, while he was traveling. He asked that devotee, and how are you chanting everything, 16, okay, here is your name. That's it. There was no. So, Diksha can happen anywhere, anytime if the pure devotee wants it and the disciple is ready. That's it. That's all that is required for Diksha. The absolute surrender on the part of, like Arjuna, Karishe Vachanam Tava. And that's what actually Diksha means. But because for the neophyte, he may, fall back or something like that. To make it more solidified. So there is a Diksha ceremony. And one has to go through that. And he must be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. And then he can be formally engaging in deity worship and all that. The other issue is, and that Diksha is usually Harinam Diksha. But this Brahmin Diksha, in fact, Harinam and Brahman, in fact, there was no two different Dikshas before. But this Brahmana, especially this sacred thread and all this, introduced by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and I'm not sure exactly Bhaktivinoda or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because, sometimes Brahmanas, they were like looking down upon Vaishnavas. Oh, you don't have any thread, you don't have status. So to show that Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, Brahma Janati. So Brahma means a spiritual substance. So one who knows about the spiritual subject matter, he is a Brahmana. Now there are three levels, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. So one who knows Brahman is also Brahma Janati, Paramatma is also Brahma Janati, Bhagavan is also Brahma Janati. But the Bhagavan Jai Krishna Tattvavit Shai Guru Hoy. So a Vaishnava is of course a Brahmana already, a Brahma Janati. So therefore he is given to recognize, for people to recognize a Vaishnava as a Brahmana and even greater than the Brahmana. So he introduced this thing, the sacred thread ceremony. So this is thing. So now, what is the significance of Gayatri and Brahmana initiation? So Gayatri is actually, this is only for second initiated, but so I will not tell the mantra and all these things, but it is basically meditation on the Brahma Gayatri, first of all, and also on the Guru, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So we have more than one Gayatri, we have few Gayatri mantras that we chant every day. So it's all about, if we understand the meaning, it's actually meditating on the spiritual master, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So these are there. I cannot go much into detail because this is because Gayatri mantra. But yes, even for the Brahma Gayatri. So what is the significance? So a person who is initiated, he has to, Dhimahi, the word Dhimahi is one of the seed bija also. So he has to be meditating. So this is a formality that everyone has to do, the Gayatri mantra. And also it has spiritual significance also. And it actually conveys the highest spiritual truth. When you are initiated into the second initiation, Brahman initiation, and then you see the meaning of the Gayatri mantra, you will understand this. And actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur even explains this in the Brahma Samhita. So a liberated person, he is actually completely qualified to chant the Gayatri mantra because he is on that level. What is mentioned in that Gayatri mantra, it's actually he is that person who is fully following that. So anyway, that is the aim for us to achieve. So we have to constantly remind ourselves of that. Okay. Now, initiation into spiritual life by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This link, purebhakti.com, this particular website I don't actually recommend to anyone because it is by, I think, Narayan Maharaj, who is an offender to Prabhupada. But of course, this particular link of this article is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's article, so you may read that. But don't follow other articles on this website because this Narayan Maharaj was very offensive to Śrīla Prabhupada. But of course, if that article is just by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, so that is all right. So that is the link there. I have a doubt whether I am doing properly, so ask for reference. If website, please share. I don't know any website. Anyway, no need to. So just accept, the thing that We have to get initiation and then Gayatri. Meaning and significance of Shikshashtaka verses 1 and 2. Strengthening foundations. Thank you for explaining, Hare Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Okay, she found out this initiation thing was started by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura. So Subala Prabhu is sharing here. Yes, Brahma Samhita, this is what I was talking about. Brahma Samhita 5.27. Then Gayatri, mother of the Vedas, being made manifest, that is imparted by the divine sound of the flute of Sri Krishna, entered into the lotus mouth of Brahma, born from himself through his 8 ear holes. The lotus-born Brahma, having received the Gayatri, sprung from the flute song of Sri Krishna, attained the status of the twice-born, having been initiated by the supreme primal preceptor, Godhead himself. Enlightened by the recollection of that Gayatri embodying the 3 Vedas, Brahma became acquainted with the expanse of the ocean of truth. Then he worshipped Sri Krishna, the essence of all Vedas, with this hymn. So actually that's the fact. And also, he mentioned something also, one of the Gayatri mantras is there. And in the Brahmaloka, like we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they chant that Gayatri mantra as the mantra of their japa. So that is mentioned like that. So Manjukesi Mataji. So it's up to the mercy of the Guru, Prabhu, that a devotee can receive Diksha. Yes, but both. If the disciple also should be wanting it. Otherwise, no. If it's just Guru and then disciple is not ready, what is the use? Dohar Pariksha, there has to be testing of the disciple and testing of the Guru. And of course, we are not really in a position to test the Guru, but at least he should be of the Uttamadhikari. If we are confident, that much we must be confident, right? Like, why are we taking Diksha from Prabhupada? Of course, when we took, maybe how much we knew, I don't know. But, the thing is, we have to know that we are confident that Prabhupada is a pure devotee, and then we are easily wanting to take Diksha. Actually, even before, honestly, when I started reading Prabhupada's books, then I wanted to take Diksha of somebody like Prabhupada. Actually, I wanted to take from Prabhupada, then I found out that he passed away physically. So I was like a little bit despondent, and I was thinking only if there is somebody like Prabhupada I will accept, otherwise I will not accept any Guru. So then, I think 2 days later, I found the final order book. And then I read all the letters. I was super happy, and so because he is a pure devotee, and that's the standard I wanted. So there was some kind of pariksha. I wanted a person of that quality, that caliber. So that much we should know. Once we are accustomed to that knowledge a little bit, and then we should know who is a proper Guru and who is not. And then Prabhupada. So there's no question of Prabhupada's side, but Prabhupada also want to test whether we are qualified, we are serious enough to take Diksha. So that qualification is tested by the temple authorities, and they will see whether we are qualified or not. Sometimes because we think we are qualified, but actually we are not. So 3 Vedas or 4 Vedas? So actually, it is said 3 Vedas because Atharva Veda is a corollary Veda. Rig, Sama and Yajur is considered the main Vedas. All the other instructions are put into Atharva Veda. So that's why. Iriksama Yajurevacha. What is that? Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita. (9:17) Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier and the syllable Om. I am also the Rik, Sama and Yajur Vedas. So the 3 Vedas are mentioned here. The Atharva Veda is not mentioned because it is a corollary Veda. Most important are these 3 Vedas. Of course, here Prabhupada mentions in all the 4 Vedas Atharva included. the Pranava Omkara is very prominent, it is understood to be Krishna. But Krishna personally only mentioned the three. Riksama Yajure Vacha. So, I think that's the end of the session. Thank you all very much. Harinam Cintāmaṇi ki jai, Haridāsa Ṭhākura ki jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Bhakti Ṭhākura ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. So we'll meet on Saturday again. Friday tomorrow is Prabhu's Zoom class and we'll meet on Saturday. Hare Krishna.